Hey everybody. It is 11:11. It is November, and it's at I'm recording this at 4:44 p.m. on November 11th, 2022. Craziness. So, I haven't done one of these in a while, and just to say, we have had some interesting energies going on for the last, I don't know how long, a while. And yeah, my hair's behaving it's responding to the energies. I think the static that's out there. So let's go back to September. I've spoken about this. If you follow the Astro Tarot forecast that Millie and I do, the link is in the description box below. September, and in my personal classes that I teach the tarot, using the tarot as a tool for self-actualization, we had the devil card running through the background week after week. Even though I would pick a different card every week, that devil card made its way all the way into October. And that was really about free will. It's that devil energy that says, okay, you've asked the universe to give you this, this, and that. The universe has been supportive. You have learned some hard lessons. You've done all your purging and your surrendering and your clearing and your crying and your aching and your grieving and all of that stuff. And the universe is still there going, okay, wonderful. Let's give you the next step. And then the universe steps back. And that devil energy that was in the background was your free will. That's where you get to try out the things that you learned. It's like a pop quiz, and then it's another pop quiz, and then it's the big exam. And what it's testing you on is, am I going backwards? When left to my own devices, do I revert to my default setting? Do I continue to attract those things that I tried so hard to clear myself from? Do I find the same old person with those bad qualities in a different configuration? Do I go back into addictions? Do I go back into negative behaviors or thought patterns? That's what that devil energy was in the background. And we may have kind of dabbled. We may have flunked a couple of the quizzes along the way, just as a reminder. And I'm shuffling the cards as I talk here. And then October, so we're in deep into Libra season, and I said this in the other video as well. For an air sign, that felt like fire. That felt like a fiery month. I have never felt a Libra season that felt so unair-like. And then we hit Scorpio. And I've been saying that Scorpio, being a water sign, and yeah, it's more like boiling water than, a calm, soothing river. It feels like a fifth element. It feels like something else. It feels like brimstone or alcohol on fire or something. It's very different, and it's very intense. So now that we're in November, knee deep into, I shouldn't say knee deep, it's like crown chakra deep into Scorpio season. The energy's heavy. The energy's super, super heavy. And we're here on 1111, the 1111 portal. It is an energetic portal that sort of brings us the possibilities of what's happening next year. And so as we hit Sagittarius at the end of November, it's going to be intense, 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 and then out you go. And I don't think it's going to be so comfortable. I don't think any of it is comfortable feeling, but it is definitely positive, and it's progressive, and it really involves a lot of courage. It requires a lot of courage. And things that require courage are things that we're afraid of. Otherwise, we wouldn't need courage to do them. So that's the energy that's happening. And I know that eclipse, in the class that I teach, we had that full eclipse the other night, Monday going into Tuesday, I guess. And people got hit with it. Like, and some physically, people had, fallen down, physically, emotionally, psychologically, in so many ways. They got pushed back, they got hit, they got, um, psychologically beat up. And that was a big whammy. And some people got sick, or they fell ill, or they were crying, or just was a reality shift. And when I say reality shift in that sense, it's almost like, okay, there's an outward reality there. We are maybe not quite involved with what's happening. We're on autopilot. And then all of a sudden, there's us and our reality that sort of converge. And it's like, wow, it's like looking at your reality through a big plate glass window and not realizing there's a glass there. And you get closer and closer and closer, and you decide to pick up speed and you slam into it. That's kind of what it was. And then we're coming out of that eclipse now, entering this mega manifesting time. So last week, in my class, the card of the week was the Empress. And this week, yesterday, Thursday, the card of the week was the Emperor. And I typically don't do cards in succession, but that's what the energy called for. And we've got Mars retrograde. It's a fiery energy, and Mars is going to be retrograde until the end of January. So it brings us into the next year. And this energy is about like, oh, I'm pedaling uphill again. Like I just pedaled and pedaled and pedaled. Yeah. What happens if you've ever seen athletes? Like I watch hockey, so I've seen these hockey players pulling these weights behind them, and they're running or skating. And then when it's time to play, the weight is gone and they fly forward. That's what we're feeling energetically at this point. We are being trained to persevere with that big weight behind us. And we're pushing forward, pushing forward, and pushing forward. And it's hard, but it's like exercising. It's like building the muscle. It's like the energetic muscle for creating smooth sailing in 2023. So I'm going to just pull a couple of cards on this, and they're not even really, they're very basic, simple cards. And I'm just going to see what comes up here for this. Just as a side note, if you want to get on my email list, newsletter list, it's called a subscription. You can subscribe to the newsletter, which basically alerts you of classes that I teach. And every single week, I teach a class called Using the Tarot as a Tool for Self-Actualization on a Thursday. And we look at the symbolism in a particular card that represents the collective energies. And then on the Tuesday following that, I teach a class called Blast Your Blocks with EFT, or tapping, where we deal with the subject that that card spoke about, and we try and clear the blocks preventing us from, feeling better, moving stuck energy, getting rid of our perceived limitations and things like that. Okay, so bottom of the deck, we have the 10 of Cups. It's the happily ever after. It's a little bit Disney version of that. I cut it on the Page of Wands, which is interesting because in yesterday's collective reading for the class, the outcome was, I should say the future, the immediate future was the Page of Wands also. Excuse me. As soon as we turn the heat on up here in Canada, it starts getting dry. So The first thing that we've got here is the Chariot. We haven't had the Chariot, gosh, for months and months. It was earlier this year, like March, I think. This is really about going with the flow of the universe and having the patience to steer, just steer. All you can do is, I always think of Google Maps. So we put in our destination, and in this case, I think our destination is a feeling. It is speaking in generalities. So where do you see yourself? How do you see yourself being and feeling, and the type of people you're around, and the type of person you are, and what can you do? What do you require to do that? It's that kind of thing. Leave all the how out of it. And we talk about that so much. People who talk about the law of attraction say just forget about the how, leave that up to the universe. And that's what the Chariot is saying. It's a major arcana card. It's a 7. It is something magical about it. It's very playful in this case. This deck is very playful. In the present, we have this King of Swords energy. And the little fox, this little cunning fox, mental clarity. With that, it's giving me this feeling. I just had a conversation about left brain versus right brain. And when we function, you know, we're told that superior thinking is left brain thinking, that it's logic. When you're logical and reasonable, reasonable, all these things are left brain thinking. But the left brain is more the computation side of logic. When we really hit higher brain function, we need to think in abstract ways, which involves our imagination. And with the right brain and left brain operating together, it's that emperor energy, active, passive, all at the same time. That's where we get the higher brain function. So in this case, this King of Swords, yes, there's an analytical component, but it's more about the clear thinking, to be cunning, to see things before they happen, to figure out a variety of eventualities so that we can better navigate. It's also about shifting our reality. And I keep talking about this reality shifting thing that's going on, because reality is shifting without our involvement. We're sort of bystanders to this shifting reality, but we can actually play a subjective role in how our reality shifts. And I think this King of Swords embodies that, because it's thinking. It's not left brain thinking, it's thinking clearly, focused, clear thinking. Now I've got 6 cards laid out here in a rune cast, and half of them are major arcana cards. So there's a reason for that. That means this is an important day, and it's an important day for manifesting. And I'll leave out what the immediate future is showing, but the people that we're interacting with right now, again, it's got the world. So this is a time when you can actually connect with all those people you think are impossible to reach. The people, the places, the opportunities, they are available to you. You just have to think outside the box, get away from the limiting beliefs, and move into the place of, well, what if I could contact so-and-so? What if I could make that connection with the people who do the thing? What if, whatever it is. And this is full of opportunity. It is the final card in the major arcana, holding the world in your hands. This is the maximum abundant card. It's often called the universe, in fact. Okay, now, interestingly, in the position of what the universe is doing for you. It is a card that is not subjective at all. It's just like the weather. You're planning a picnic and you open the front door and it's raining. It's raining all over the city. That's not about you, although it impacts you. And so we have the Four of Pentacles in that position. And so that's a little bit of a warning to how are you restricting yourself? There are restrictions as well placed upon you, which are for your benefit. When we have every option available to us, sometimes, I mean, technically we do, but there's that critical part where we have to sort of pick and choose and have clarity as to what it is we want to focus on. We cannot, by definition, focus on 50 things. Focusing means to hone in on something specific. So there is restriction from the universe. Let that guide you to help you focus. And then what is coming? This is the card of abundance. It is the Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups, everything's overflowing. It's typically, you have 3 cups for you, and that's what you need to survive. You have 3 more cups to save for the future, which is a lot. And then you have 3 more cups that you can share with other people so that they can then develop and expand as well. It is the card of abundance. But then the outcome is the Tower. And there's that heavy element again. So the Tower in this case, we're just really going through the ringer. We need to change our reality as a collective. And it's a small amount of people required. And those small amount of people, even though they have disagreements or different viewpoints, we do need to come together and have a single mindedness in order to have a positive outcome. And this is a card of catastrophes and destruction. And sometimes that has to happen before people get it, before people actually realize what's important for them to band together and move forward. Now, on a very individualistic level, that can be, well, I need to do my inner work before I can do the outer work. I cannot heal a collective without healing myself. But there's that, again, there's a quantum element where what we do on the inside actually ripples out there. We do change our reality because we are all connected. When I change what's going on here, it ripples out energetically. It just does. That's how quantum physics works. And once I do that, then I can actually go about changing what's out there. All those different components change, but it really requires some devastation. And people are probably not waking up to the realities. They're still sitting in that victim mentality. They're sitting in that place of, this is beyond my control. My reality says that I can't control the economy and I can't control politics. It's actually wrong. What the message is of this 1111 portal is that that belief is erroneous. Well, so we have the Queen of Swords to match that King, which is at the center of our reading. Okay, so we have cunning and wisdom and clarity and ready to strike. This is like, nothing should be getting past your BS meter, your BS filter at this point. And with that, I also have the Lovers. So we've got, on all sides of this, I've got major arcana cards. And this is the joining of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. It is that collective masculine and feminine energy of the yin and the yang, the receptive and the active. When I was explaining the Empress energy, it's passive and it's receptive, but it's creative. So think of gestation. In many cards, the Empress is depicted as a pregnant woman. And that's because something occurred. There was some action that happened in order for gestation to occur. But that gestation is a really complicated process that takes roughly 9 months for the outcome, okay, for a whole human being to occur. But think about all the things that we are gestating. We are in a passive state, other than maintaining the health of the environment for that gestation to succeed. That's what we can do. We're positive, we get enough rest, we eat properly, don't do anything dangerous, you don't do heavy lifting, all that sort of thing. It's very receptive and passive. But there's this mega thing going on. There's action happening on a level that consciously we're not capable of controlling. Thank goodness, because it's really complicated. So that's that time. This week we have the Emperor card. The Emperor is this fiery action taking what's the word I'm looking for? It's the Emperor, it takes all four kings and embodies all those four elements. And it is a number 4. And it's mastering those four elements and coming to that place where there's power without force. So in the feminine receptive Empress energy, we have passive receptive creative energy. And in the Emperor, we have power without force. It's very balanced. And so they come together in this card. And that is the outcome. And at the bottom of the deck, then we've got the 4 of Wands. Again, is foundations. And then we've got the 9 of Wands, our boundaries, and temperance, and Juno. So this is a time of, you want to manifest something, get clear and focus on what that is. And if you don't know what it is, focus just on the feeling, how you want to feel. What type of people do you want to surround yourself with? Start there. Just focus on that. But this is the day to do it. And these energies are going to play out in 2023. They don't happen on autopilot. They happen with, it's like that gestation. You have to put in that effort. I'll know what that is. You put in that effort in order for the thing to happen, in order to then take care during that time, and then you give birth to something. Apologies for my tongue not working, tripping over my words, and coughing due to the dryness in here. The air is very dry, very static energy going on today. So happy 11/11 portal, and go off and do some magical things. Thanks for watching, and please like and share and subscribe.